Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Beulah ma'am, for your nice introduction. And let's Mrs. Poornima to take over the session. Ma'am, you can share your screen.
Ma'am?
Good morning.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning,
Are you able
ma'am.
to see the screen?
No, ma'am, it's not shared.
It's shared now.
Yeah.
Yeah, see that? Yeah?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, Beulah, for the introduction that you gave. And entrepreneurship is something that I am very passionate about, and I feel privileged to be a part of Entrepreneurship Development Institute of India. As you see that we have been here from 1983 onwards, and we all know that entrepreneurship is a part of important tool which is there for an inclusive growth of the society. And we at EDI are into education, training, counseling for the emergence of entrepreneurs. We also encourage youth who seek innovations and challenges. And in that way, I think we are also leading that to a lot of opportunity and optimization of the resources and creation of wealth. And we all know now that entrepreneurship is an indicator of the national economic growth. And I think there is a huge potential as of now when we are in this COVID-19 situation. Now, just trying to take in terms of the topic that has been delivered to me today, it is entrepreneurship. Now, let us try to understand what is entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is a process in which an individual, whoever it is, a man or a woman, can organize, operate, and take the risks of businesses. Now, in this is a process of creating something new by devoting time along with whatever is the required financial, social risk, and then receiving the results which is rewards of monetary, personal satisfaction, and independence. So why become an entrepreneur itself becomes the biggest question. I have been an entrepreneur myself, and I do know what is the joy of being an entrepreneur. And it gives you the freedom of taking up the decisions in business, act upon it, and take responsibility for everything that happens. So an entrepreneur is one who can make his own rules or her own rules, work and enjoy, creating greater wealth, help the community at large. So there is beauty in becoming an entrepreneur. Coming next to the topic of value chain in entrepreneurship. Now, friends, what is value chain? Value chain is the process or activities by which a company or an individual adds value so that there is something that happens, including some changes in production, marketing, and even the after sales. So, a business must use its value chain activities to create value and to capture that value. Created by this chain should exceed the sum of the values added by each individual activity. Now, talking about value chain, is value chain requires entrepreneurship? Yes, it is a part of enterprise growth. Now, let us try to understand what is innovation. Innovation is trying to make complex things simple. You can quote several examples for it. we used to have ink pen, where especially students, school-going students, first time taking up writing in pen, used to have difficulty filling the ink, then leakages, then messing up with your uniform. All that was discarded when ballpoint pens came. So this is one such thing. Making complex things very simple. So it could be, we earlier used to make dosa batters, for which a housewife had to do it, soak things the previous day. Now we have ID dosa mix ready from the shelf, which can be just brought. So that is innovation. Implement ideas for impact. Now, this is again a very important thing. Think afresh to create value. Dear friends, as we go through, I'll show you more examples and I'll keep telling you how each of these can be done. Convert ideas into marketable and manufacturable for sale. Exploit the new ideas successfully. Dear friends, there's a lot of work being done in research, right? Now, those research remains in the shelf if it is not converted into action research. So I think 78% of the future business leaders deem innovation to be the essential part of business growth. Whether it is a big or a small enterprise, an entrepreneur, innovation should be a part of this. Now, I'm trying to put all the three things together: creativity, innovation, and entrepreneurs. Now, if creativity you call as the ability to develop new ideas and to discover new ways of looking at problems and opportunities, innovation is the ability to apply creative solutions to those problems and opportunities, and that enhances people's lives.
Hello, ma'am. Hello.
Hello?
I think our internet connection is not stable, I guess.
And just tell her.
Yeah, the speaker is not speaking now. So let's wait for a minute. Because there was a technical error, so that will be just coming back. Yeah, she just come back.
She's aware, no?
Yeah, she's coming back.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Yeah. There was some little difficulty here, that's it. You're able to see the screen, Dinesh?
Yes, ma'am. You can just make it for full screen.
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, able to see it now?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay. So now I was I was just talking about how all the three parameters, creativity, innovation, and entrepreneurs, how all these play. Creativity, if you say, is the ability to develop new ideas and discover new ways of looking at problems and opportunities. Innovation is the ability to apply creative solutions to those problems and opportunities to enhance people's life. Now, what is entrepreneurship then? It is the result of the disciplined, systematic process of applying creativity and innovation to the needs and opportunities in the market. And it is these entrepreneurs are those who marry their creative ideas with the purposeful action and structure of a business. So researchers believe that entrepreneurs succeed by thinking and doing new things or old things in new ways. I suppose all of us have seen so many changes from our younger days to what we are now, either in terms of our mode of transport, in terms of the mobiles that keep changing, in terms of the methods in which teaching is being done. You take anything, behind every action of this is an entrepreneur who's responsible for this. Dear friends, I firmly believe that entrepreneurship is always innovation-driven entrepreneurship because it requires intelligence, skill. There has to be a core idea with which they have to work, and it's the creation of the mind. Dear friends, you find there 3 photos below there. I can quote here an English professor from a college walking down, saw a fallen coconut leaf, and he thought, why not I convert this into a straw? Today, we have coconut leaf, which is generally burnt in the rural areas, and some people who make brooms out of the midrib. Otherwise, everything of that goes into the trash or it is burnt. Whereas now, we have a professor from Bangalore who's got this innovative idea of converting them into straws, which are eco-friendly, it replaces plastic. And what more, something that was being burnt is now becoming the raw material for a product. So this gives absolutely an opportunity for people to start enterprises, to work in their own areas of place in the coastal areas where there is a population of coconut trees around. Next you see is a photo of edible spoons. Dear friends, when people speak of conserving health, we have a woman entrepreneur in Bangalore making these spoons out of millets. Millets, is called the magic millets because of its nutrient qualities. So this lady has come up with an unique idea of trying to make a spoons making of even bowls which can be consumed after eating in it. She was also featured in the History Channel. And next we see is, we all speak in terms of replacing or stop using plastic. But then we need to have alternates to use. So the third photo is a pen made from paper. So these are 3 just samples of the vast kind of ideas which generally our entrepreneurs are having. We have just shown you 3 different kind of things which have made entrepreneurship such a beautiful platform to work with. Dear friends, we see that there are, if you try to see the types of innovation, It could be a product innovation like what you've seen, that you had spoons, then you have now is the edible spoons. And I also have another scientist who has another spoon, which he calls by another name, where it helps you eat food to the last grain. So he has developed products where even patients in the hospital can eat easily, even if there is a drip IV needle in their hand. Now, these are innovations. He also, this particular scientist has created a toothbrush with which you are always advised to brush your teeth vertically, not horizontal. Whereas the brush that he has done does not allow the horizontal movement, and it keeps going only the vertical way. So these are innovations. The coconut straw is an innovation. Paper pen is a
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Your screen is not full screen yet.
Yeah,
Just
I'll
go
do
to
that.
slideshow and
I'll do
from the slide.
Yeah, you're able to see that now?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Yeah. And then next we can come is, there we have the example of Apple. Product innovation, you know, dear friends, that we keep changing our mobiles because new features are being added, and the product, the one we thought is the latest, becomes outdated or older version by the time a few more models will come in. Now let us talk about the process innovation. Process innovation, this has a process where there is a cost which has to be reduced, increasing of the production level. Now, to tell to you an example of the latest one which I showed you about making of the coconut leaf straws, we have introduced this already through our rural entrepreneurs in Karnataka and in Tamilnadu. We started off with hand rolling, and then the scientist, the professor, he started devising a machine, and then a machine was made where now a machine can do the rolling operation and the production level increases. Then the cost reduces. So these are some things which I'm telling than the one which has already been mentioned here of the Ford Motor Company, where with the change in the process, the assembly time for the vehicle dropped from 12 hours to 90 minutes. Friends, we all think that only cash is money. Time is also money, dear friends, for an entrepreneur. So process innovation, again, becomes a very key factor for an entrepreneur. The quicker that he is able to convert the raw material into a finished goods, better are his prospects to have them sold. Now, let us now think in terms of the next one, the business model innovation. We have seen that earlier, whenever we need to purchase anything, we had to go to the market to buy it. And now we have realized during the lockdown, in spite of the lockdown, we were able to get some of the things online. It's because of the beautiful models that have come out, where I dare tell you, friends, that even during the lockdown, Swiggy, they, from delivering food items, they moved on to actually delivering whatever items we want. A friend of mine wanted something. He stayed some other part of Bangalore, but in less than an hour, it reached him from my house. So this is what I tell you is business model innovation at any juncture, at any point of time, how a product can be brought into the market. For example, what is Byju's doing right now? It has created a revolution by making children think differently and trying to provide them the tools required for doing it. So, as you see, Dear friends, whether it is creativity, whether it is innovation, ultimately, what is it that matters? Monetization is the key factor with which an entrepreneur needs to work. Because if he's not able to have the product that he has done as a different product, it cannot lead to monetization. The innovation should be novel and it should be original. There has to be some useful improvement in the product of what he's doing. And the other part is he should have something that is not obvious or not an abstract. It's something that is makeable. It's not simply just in paper, but you can see that it can be done. And the product that he creates must be able to create some entry barrier. And it should also have the force multiplier. So dear friends, ultimately, what I tell you is that an entrepreneur is a very intelligent person who does not put his money or his time into a value chain or creating something innovative if there is no monetary benefit associated along with it. So now comes, what is the bottom line of everything that we are speaking right now? Is that in business, whatever is the product that has to be brought in by the entrepreneur with a value chain or an innovation, it should have business, it should have viability in the market. And there should be a market for that particular product, and it should be possible with the technology available now. The next thing is, the most important one is, there should be value for whatever has been done, and it should be desirable to the users. This becomes the bottom line for all the activities that are being spoken of. Now, let us try to understand what are those that triggers innovation in entrepreneurship for creating the value chain. The basic and the most important part is there should be a need, there should be a possibility, there should be an opportunity. Now, trying to take the different pieces which are circling around, let us now try to see what are the pain. What is the factor pain? Remember, a person using a pencil has to search for a rubber eraser, whereas a person thought, I'll put an eraser at the tip of the pencil itself. So the pain for a person searching for an eraser was stopped with having a eraser at the tip of the pencil. Second, it should solve a problem. It should solve a problem, right? Our ink pens, now a luxury thing. It used to leak. Now has come the ballpoint pens. We have the paper pens. So the problem is solved. We had issues with our landlines. We could not carry them everywhere. Have not the mobiles come. The third part is the paradigm shift in our way of thinking. No one had thought that we would be able to do all our cash transfers, banking transactions through our mobiles, but digital technology has proven that even during lockdown, things happen. People were still able to do things is because technology enabled a total paradigm shift of going to a bank to collect money to doing digital transaction. The next part where innovation should be addressing is the performance. The innovation should enhance whatever is being rightly done now to a better way. Next thing is the psychographics. I think all of us of these days, we've been seeing how most of our advertisements try to talk in terms of boosting immunity, because all of us know we are in a very tough time with the novel coronavirus around us. So there's a psychographics or the media which keeps telling us that these are the things which are there for the boosting your immunity. So these kind of images or the psychographics boosts the sales. Now, the other thing is things which are being done to increase the productivity. So there could be the tools, there could be the applications, there could be equipment, there could be processes which give us some solutions for increasing productivity. Things could be then for peace of mind. For peace of mind, dear friends, we all, when we leave the house and go, what do? We lock. So the key, the lock and the key, anything that is locked and kept something safe, that gives us a peace of mind. What we do now when we wear masks, it's a peace of mind that we are not going to be affected with, but we do not know how else it can happen. But wearing the mask creates a peace of mind. Wearing masks helps prevent the coronavirus intake by the people. Now, talking about personalization, friends, personalization is that making garments, making items specifically for a set of people. We know that companies like Zara came up with new designs for the younger generation. So these are some of the things which trigger for innovation. So these are the few P's which are there, and the number of them we can keep adding. For example, if you see the paradigm shift thing, if you want to go back to that, wearing of the seat belt in the cars was a paradigm shift where, and then now earlier only car was a luxury, then the belt again by only the driver, then the belt by all the people, all the passengers. This is how things have been moving. So I think we understand now that the triggers for innovations can be any one of these things which address the need, the possibility, and entrepreneur is sharp enough to look for what is the money that is involved for him in that. So if you now try to see the entrepreneurship chain itself, friends, going back to my slide where I spoke of creativity, innovation, and the enterprises. Creativity is thinking about the stuff differently. Innovation is doing new things for the marketplace, whereas entrepreneurship is creating value in the market. Right? So, coming to this particular time where things are very difficult, in the Indian context, I'm speaking, we can think in terms of how all of us involved in the field of development can try to encourage new thinking and encourage entrepreneurs to set up things for the help of people. We've seen that there is a total disruption in terms of the complete marketing, market strategy, economy, everything. So I think we have seen what are the kind of industries that have opened up. The challenges which are there are in the hospitality and the service, pharma and equipment, collective hygiene, food processing, e-commerce, ICT infrastructure, virtual learning and support, apprenticeships, and others. Now, these are areas where one can think in terms of newer innovations and kind of reach what we can have at this juncture. Dear friends, we have seen that there's been a lot of support from the Department of Science and Technology, even for startups, to develop relevant innovations for the COVID-19 combat. There's been more than 1,300 ideas and 180 new product solutions, which have come within 2 days of launch of Break Corona, a startup incubator. Dear friends, it's time for us now to look at this juncture with the lockdown, where the whole world has been taken by shock. Now, let us come to our Indian context and let us try to see how it has affected our manufacturing sectors, agricultural sector, and the non-informal sector. Now, in each of these sectors, there is scope for persons with innovative ideas to think in terms of what can be done. Sources say that the trade relations which we have with different countries, when it came to a standstill, the manufacturing sector was very deeply affected. Many of the sectors in the manufacturing, if you try to take areas, friends, be it the chemical, the textiles, the automotive, electrical machinery, leather products, metal or metal products, wood products, and furniture, it was found that these manufacturing units were facing shortage of material. Also, they had this completely disturbed and investment mechanism of the companies. Now, taking up the agricultural sector, dear friends, I think this not only affected the supply and the demand chain, there were repercussions in the food prices in the domestic and the international markets too. There has been total disruption in the supply chain of food items, which was creating temporary food shortage. So now, what can be done to combat the shocks of a manufacturing sector, agricultural sector, has to be looked from a new perspective in terms of how we can all boost the youngsters to think differently to address these kind of problems. The most important one is the informal sector shocks, where I think the most affected were the small shopkeepers, small enterprises, the street entrepreneurs, domestic helpers, the contract workers, the daily wage earners. So, friends, there are 36 million jobs which are at risk post-corona in India itself. So, friends, trying to see all these, I think what we all in the field of development have to consider is how we can encourage for import substitute, replacement of packing materials, which earlier used to be taken from other countries. So these are the areas we can think in terms of what we can do to see how things can be made in India. And dear friends, I would like to tell that this particular situation of these lockdown and other things, it brought out some innovative ways of thinking also from different people, including in India, where even new ideas were being called up for tackling the corona effect. And we have a lot of organizations, individuals who have worked extremely on this. And I think they have made fully automatic machines for the production of masks. We have cheaper mask making machines. We have Ruhadar, which is a low cost, frugal innovator, where the engineering students from IIT Mumbai have done a low cost ventilator at the cost of 15,000 rupees. Jiva Setu ventilator by Reva University students. Low cost PPEs, advanced wash basins, pedal operated wash basins where use of hands need not be done. I think the list keeps going on. So what's the focus right now will be more on healthy, friendly technology, and in the field of education sector again. So students have to be brought in touch with the entrepreneurs facing these problems, where solutions can be brought in by the interaction with the students, experts, and the industry together. So I think funding operations for startups to develop relevant new innovations for anything connected with COVID has already been opened up by the Department of Science and Technology. So options are umpteen, immense, and I think this gives us a huge opportunity for us to take forward our youngsters, that depending on only jobs is not the solution, that they can even think in terms of trying to start a small enterprise of their own and still continue in life. So I think it's what we have all to think in terms of. We have to accept challenges. We have to analyze the mistakes that have been made. We have to have the ability to learn new things. We have to be inspired by other success. But if we do have a fixed mindset of an unchangeable attitude, we want to avoid challenges, avoid failure, we give up easily, that's difficult. So a person who is in the field of entrepreneurship always will have a growth mindset. And that's how most of the companies have adapted themselves, even during this difficult situation, and done. For example, Coursera, the most common platform for different learning, they launched Coursera Workforce Recovery Initiative, free classes for newly unemployed people. And now with the government, more than 3,800 courses and 300 specializations free for those looking for work and in need of skills have been done. Coming to some US-based companies like Amazon, when you come to Apple or you come to Salesforce, they have all stepped up. They have thought that they should give back something to the society. They have offered small business grants to US businesses. Vistaprint, it's commonly known a company for making of physical digital marketing products. They donated $1 billion to the US Chamber of Commerce Foundation's small business fund to give 5,000 grants to people in businesses. And they converted machines for making banners and signs to produce face shields to the frontline medical workers. So all these things, when you see the bigger companies which have taken up these kind of initiatives, several companies within India too, in the field of garments, stepped up after a few days to make the protective gears. So, dear friends, I think there is no choice. Value chain in entrepreneurship and innovation will remain, will always be there, and it's there for everyone who is in the field of entrepreneurship to be aware, alert, and accept these things. So I think every situation properly perceived becomes an opportunity. Awareness is the greatest change agent for change. So I think I have concluded in terms of what I wanted to speak by telling that entrepreneurship is one beautiful field where an entrepreneur can create innovation, can create every adversity into a beautiful opportunity. And no other field other than entrepreneurship can really provide this platform. So, thank you. And if there are any questions, I am willing to answer.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your inputs on entrepreneurship and also the opportunities available for funding and loans and the startups. So
These are just a few. Yeah, these are just a few which I mentioned. But
yeah.
In detail, more can.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much, ma'am. So the participants, if you have any questions, you can ask or you can post in the chat box so that we can facilitate the questions.
Ma'am, excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah, tell me.
Actually, I want to know, can you give us, as we are women's college, actually, and we have this entrepreneurship cell, we have this incubation center, and we also have IPR cell. So with this, what can how I can motivate my students? Since you have gone for engineering college students for giving motivational talk.
Yeah.
So what type of business as these girls can undertake, and what is most wanted in the market? Any suggestions you would see?
See, there cannot be one simple, straight solution across just to be spoken. I think I generally interact with the students and then come out with what they can do. I can give you an example of a college here in Bangalore where women, it's a women's college, it was a women's college earlier, and there were girls from the poor background who were studying there. And they wanted to start something called the Incubation Cell, as you have rightly said. And I went to that particular college, and I think we found that Diwali was coming close by. So we taught them how they can add value to the diyas and sell them. And they really made a good profit out of selling diyas. So this is not the only thing. Is what I'm telling you is that it is specific to the particular group of girls who are there. Plus, these girls are also taught how to dry flowers and make them into bookmarks, or it can be as wall hangings or gifts. And every college generally will need something to gift visiting persons, or whenever they conduct seminars, everything. So the students here, they started making it on their own after a training. And this saved the college also a lot. Plus it gave them the pride telling that these have been done by our students. So I think, Beulah, I tell you that we need to have an interaction with the students.
Okay.
We can decide their interest. For example, the same college, I think we also gave them a training in artificial intelligence.
Okay.
Promoted students to do some things in different areas also. So it cannot be a solution straight across over the phone. Probably you need to have an interaction with your students, and then we can come out with, there are several options and several avenues available with which the women colleges itself can think of doing. And
okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
we have questions in the chat box. So, how to draw the attention of the sponsors for investment in our startups?
I think wherever they are, if they are able to, which place is that person is, if you can tell me, I can probably help them. Because you need to have a pitch done, an elevator pitch, which needs to be done in terms of before you even go to any kind of an investor. I do have a few of my friends who are in the field of shortlisting these kind of the projects. So if the person can write to me, I can help the person, Dinesh.
Okay, sure. Is it across India or particular to states?
I am working from Bangalore, so I can put them across with some other references across.
Okay, yeah, sure. Thank you,
ma'am, for science students, what type of startup we can do, ma'am?
Students.
Yes, ma'am. Or for the department?
Yeah, see, there are many kind of activities, but as students, what happens is your focus has to be more onto the studies part of it, right? So, and along with it, what else you can take? This is what you will be asking. And this is exactly what we do even in the colleges.
Yes.
So, were we aware of Swiggy, Zomato, all these dear friends earlier?
Yes.
We were not, right?
Yeah.
They all came up. They all came up newly. And you do not know what is the quality of food that comes from them. We do not know. Whereas, as students, if you get in touch, you know your mother does something well. You know your aunt does something well. Then you try to develop an app with which, in a closed circuit, within your own locality, your mother or whoever it is able to do. What I tell is, youngsters of these days, you are very logical, you are very rational, you are very tech-oriented. The members in your house might not have that same aptitude for technology. So as students, if you are able to see the opportunities, what you can take out of the skills of your own house members, use a tech base and sell them. I think that will be a wonderful opportunity for you, friends.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
And just share some good online tools which can be available for startups.
Yeah. I share it, Dinesh.
Yeah. Okay, that was a question actually. Yeah.
Ma'am, one question.
Yeah.
Ma'am, when I was reading your profile, actually I was reading this the WEDP 3.0 flagship program. Can you explain about that program, ma'am?
EDI partnered with Walmart in association with WeConnect International. Walmart, as you know, is the leading brand which is the biggest thing they have is in the US. But in India, they have about 21 outlets. So there was a program, a flagship program of theirs, wherein 40 women-owned businesses were trained in Bangalore and in New Delhi for becoming suppliers in Walmart. I would like to tell to you here that a lady from Bangalore who was just a housewife today is a supplier of different chutney powders to Walmart. After the training program, she has started supplying to Walmart and to many other companies. Mm-hmm. So this was Women Entrepreneurship Development Program in association with Walmart, and even till date, those women-owned businesses are in touch with us because there are unique products which are being made by these women which have immense potential. For example, we have a lady who makes sanitary napkins using banana fiber. We have a lady who makes seeded paper. We have the edible cutlery lady. We have a lady who makes polished coconut, where we all drink tender coconut on the roadside, whereas this lady polishes the coconut, and these are sold at malls and bigger things. And she was the lady who supplied 150 liters of tender coconut water to Aero Show at Bangalore. So we have a diverse variety of entrepreneurs through this program. And that's a program which EDI coordinated, and I was there.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah.
What is your opinion on, there was a question from a student. So what is your opinion on crowdfunding to start a business? So whether it's safe or how to go on returns?
I think they should have a mentor before they go in for all these kind of funding options. They should have their idea vetted through a mentor and then approach the other funding operations. I tell you that funding should be the last part. The idea has to be very well vetted, tested. They should work through a mentor and then take it up. I think funding will never be a difficulty.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, there's a question.
Yeah.
Could you tell us about the unique challenge to startup entrepreneur might face in the COVID scenario in India?
I think, as I was mentioning, that there are several sectors which they can focus upon. I can tell you examples of our own ladies from the rural areas, how they rose to the occasion. They were taught to make cotton bags, but then they stepped up and they started making masks. They started making masks without anyone asking. That was in the very nascent stage, and distributing to the shopkeepers, lorry drivers, and others. The police there approached this lady and told, "Can you train our police women?" So she started training the police women. And then people started sponsoring her for their breakfast, lunch, and other expenses. So this started growing. And we have had organizations who have started doing this so beautifully that now they have 1 lakh PPE orders. They're making masks in huge numbers. Dear friends, in the post-COVID situation, high importance will be given to healthcare products. For your information, the leading brands, I will not name the brands, their sales has nosedived from 85% to 30% because there have been lots of local players.
Yep, thank you, ma'am.
So you can think of various aspects with which you can start activities connected with COVID itself.
Okay. Thank
Any
you.
other questions? Dinesh?
I'm just waiting, ma'am. Is there
Dinesh, I'll also share with you another link.
Yeah, ma'am.
Clinton Foundation also has called for new ideas from student fraternity for post this COVID combat. So if there are students from your college who are working on it, it can be a help to them. So I'll share it with Beulah, as I think you can share it with Dinesh also.
Yeah. Okay, ma'am. Sure. There's a lot of professors from other colleges also have been joined over here.
Okay.
So it'll be helpful for
definitely.
Yeah,
I'll share it with her.
Sure, ma'am. Yeah.
Ma'am, I want some clarification regarding this. As we have an incubation center, it's only 1 year old. We have started. As soon as I attended a FPP, I started that.
Okay.
So what are the activities I should do to strengthen this?
First of all, you should open your incubation center to the new startup incubator ideas from the local area.
Okay.
You're in Vellore, right?
Yes.
Right? You're in Vellore. So
Yes,
you must throw open for the entrepreneurs there to come.
Okay, ma'am.
Use the facility. So create some space for them to come and work. Let them make it their office. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
So what happens is your incubation center will have live entrepreneurs coming there. And your incubation center should have a mentor, not from your professors, not from your faculty. It must be an outside person who can come and see that the activities for the incubation thing can happen. We are also thinking in terms of trying to extend our facilities of EDI or taking over the incubators across in the colleges. So let me see if I will be able to help you, your college.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. We are eagerly waiting. Actually, I want to know whether it should be registered, ma'am.
Which one?
No, this incubation center. No, if we have.
See, you can right now start working with us.
Okay, ma'am.
Send a mail to me.
Yes,
I shall take it forward and see that we have all the things in place.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much for this invitation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so much, ma'am. I think no more questions, Ed. Okay. So we will be sharing your details to the registered participants and many professors who are asking for. They may be in search of some help.
Sure,
so thank you so much. I was glad to connect with Auxilium College, who's hosted this session with National Institute of MSME, and we just had a diversified part, the resource persons from different fraternities, starting from how to file patent and how to do copyrights. And today we had a session on entrepreneurships and startups and fundings. So we'll be glad that we had more number of participants from across India who got benefited out of this, from business people, professionals, and also from college students and faculties from different colleges who had been a part of this program. So thank you so much for making our final day with your gracious presence.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure, and we feel always privileged to be a part of your institution, which is doing good work. And anywhere entrepreneurship is there, EDI always feels proud to be STEM. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And Dr. Beulah, if you want to do a closing session.
Thank you, ma'am. Actually, I should thank Mr. Gunashekaran also. He was the one to link EDI Bangalore.
Is it? He was mentioning to me, he was asking me then, and he told me that I'm in touch with the college. When you told me that you're from Vellore, I really thought that must be from Gunashekaran.
Actually, we have signed an MOU with Mother Educational Trust, ma'am.
Okay.
He gives us assistance regarding all these activities.
Yes, yes. There are partners with us for certain programs which we are doing.
And it's a small information for the participants. The certificates will be issued to you through mail within 1 week. So we'll be sending you feedback form. Once you have to send the feedback form again, then we will be issuing the certificates to the email IDs who have registered for the program, who have paid for the program. Okay. Then one more thing, I invite Dr. Uma Sharma to propose the vote of thanks to Mrs.Poornima.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am. It was really a wonderful session, especially on innovation and making adversity into a beautiful opportunity. These 3 days, students have been listening to various genres, as Mr. Dinesh has stated. You have instilled in the mind of the students the desire of being your own boss. So everyone will definitely would be having a desire of starting up their own business, irrespective of this COVID calamity.
Yes.
And I thank Mr. Dinesh Gajendran of Vadocious Dreams Foundation, Mr. Gunashekaran of Mata Educational Trust, Dr. Sukanta Kumari from IPR Cell, Dr. Beulah Suresh from ABIC, and special thanks to our institution for encouraging us to create such a kind of a wonderful program for the students. Thank you one and all. Thank you.
Thank you, Beulah. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. Yeah.